Oh, hello.
Oh my god.
Hey, there we are. Yeah! Freedom!
There we go.
There it is. Yep, nothing alive. Yay! I'm not dead. There's weather in front of us. There's weather behind us. There's weather to the left of us. There's weather to the right. There's weather on top of us. My woolly socks are now wet sheep.
Good morning. Welcome to another video.
Yeah, the start of the next one, or the start of this one. I get confused. The video that we are starting now is the new video after the old video went out. Everybody else should understand this.
But I think clicks on to watch a video. They know it's a new video.
I'm in a I'm in a confused place right now. I haven't had a lot of sleep, and I just got back from walking George, and it was confusing. Anyway.
We're not moving the boat today. We're still in March at Fox Narrowboats, getting ready for our BSS. When I say getting ready, we haven't actually started yet other than booking it. So
yeah, we booked it. Today is our getting ready day. The BSS happens on Tuesday. Monday. And we're pretty much prepared, but there's a few items that we need to do something about. There's some just sort of logistical stuff inside the boat that's like little pieces of the ever finishing renovation. The like 90% going to the 99% part has taken years and will take years. So there's a silly little thing like installing some
door stops
that will just make it so that something won't swing when we go across the wash. And then we've got to actually mount our fire extinguishers and fire blanket. They've been kind of positioned in the right places in the boat, but because we've been sitting on a mooring and we haven't been moving, we haven't really needed to actually mount them in the walls and stuff. So we're just going to have to find some places to put those screws in and mount them. We've also got a item that we know we would fail the BSS because the plastic cover of our shoreline bulkhead adapter is missing.
But it turned up yesterday, the replacement. So
we've got the new piece that is hopefully just a straight drop in, so that's an outside job today.
Before we start working today, there's one very important job. If you watched the last video, you'd have seen a very quick version of Michael making kimchi, although the full-length version is on our second channel. And yeah, we need to check on how the kimchi's doing because it's been 48 hours. 48 hours, there's bubbles forming in it. We need to vent the kimchi. And this is also part of our boat safety certificate problem because we need to make sure that there are no flammable gases inside the boat. No off-gassing.
Yeah.
So, in this one you can see the bubbles.
Yeah, that are generated in there. You can see it in all of them.
When you move them, the bubbles move.
That's the fermentation building up.
Okay.
So this is where we have the fun job of playing musical kimchi.
Do this one first.
Yeah. Do that one first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that was disappointing pop.
Well, there's not necessarily much to it.
Oh, that one popped a bit more.
That's all there is to it, but you see the bubbles start shooting up like as soon as you remove the pressure on the top, more bubbles start forming from the bottom. And what I can also do, although I don't normally do it this early, usually I do it after sort of the second venting, is press down the cabbage and everything that's in there, just kind of squeeze down and get it more compacted in there. That just helps the fermentation. But I don't do it the first time because it just is already pretty compact still.
When's the first taste test?
Usually after the second venting is when I try it. That's it. Kimchi off-gassed. Window is open, no poisonous danger. Even.
So what job do you want to do first?
Well, because it's a small job, but
Famous last words.
Famous last words. But it's the smallest sort of initial job. It's the magnet stoppers for our swinging door that leads to the back, and basically they're just a simple magnet stopper.
And
so one side goes on the door, one side goes onto the wall, and that lets us keep the door closed, and it'll just keep it from swinging when we go out onto the wash. But the idea is fairly straightforward. Like we use the self-adhesive pad to place them, and then this one just unscrews, and you put 3 screws in through there, and then in theory that pushes up against that screw, and so you can get this back on and rethread it. What I've realized is that if there's no friction on this side, then this thing won't close.
Which will be very annoying.
Yeah, but once it closes up, it just sort of holds that steel ball in place.
So we don't have much room like most people on a narrowboat, and we try not to have too much stuff, but there is a certain amount of stuff that you do need. Some of our tools are kept on this side of the dinette, and it's pretty chock-a-block full.
Yeah.
It's electric stuff.
Got all the electric stuff. It's always funny how you've got like electrical, mechanical, labeling. You have to have, the fun thing about being on a narrowboat is you have to have all of these like extremely one-off tools, like the crimping tool for solar, and one of these is the crimping tool for SMA connectors to do the wireless installs. Like it, and we've used them once, and we've got to keep them just in case we have to use them again. So we've got a jigsaw puzzle that we've always got to deal with. There's the drill, and this one is the screws and hardware.
And then our actual toolbox is under the well deck.
Aha!
Along with Michael's missing glove.
Yes,
Which I got in trouble for tidying away somewhere.
which apparently this is what you tidied away.
I did, and you dropped it there.
It's just our general toolbox.
And then here we've got a whole box of screws. Do you know what size you need?
It should stick on there. There. Those aren't. They're not Robert's head screws. And because they're not Robert's head screws, and they're not magnetic, they will fall off this stupid thing.
Every time Michael has to put a screw anywhere, we get told about Robert's head screws.
Posi drive are not good enough. Torques are okay, but stupidly expensive. The Canadians got this right.
Beautiful.
Yeah, well, it's not aligned, but it's aligned enough. Yeah, so we just decided to install the second one because we had it available. We don't have any other use for it. And with just the one, anything that kind of came along in here could knock it out of the way, so I could imagine just bumping into it. So this gives it sort of double the force. Now that should, it's got a reasonable offset. This was the smallest one we could find, was about 2 inches offset. Most of the other ones were quite a bit larger. But that gives us a relatively small offset here. So hopefully this won't catch our clothes or anything too often and get pulled open. And it also means, because one of the big problems we've been having is when the rubber stopper we were using ever gets knocked out and this gets closed, then if the boat shifts position, this thing comes slamming closed and would constantly throw off some of the switches on this side of the electrical box. So all of a sudden we'd lose power to the refrigerator and stuff and not notice it. So this should make it so that that doesn't happen. This just stays in the way and the door is useful again.
So that's one job finished.
Yeah.
And it was straightforward. So fire extinguishers next?
Yeah, I would think so. Probably the fire extinguishers and the fire blanket. It's really just a screw that it hangs on for the fire blanket, so that's probably the easiest one.
I might give it a quick clean.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so each of the fire extinguishers comes with a frame like this that just has 2 screws that go through it. So we just need to find the position we want to put these. I'm thinking on here, right?
Yeah.
And like that. So on either end of this for the kitchen ones. So probably there. Something like.
It's quite high.
You think that's too high?
Maybe a touch.
You want to be able to sort of grab it as you're running past. So.
Yeah, I'd say just
like try standing height?
An inch taller. I mean an inch lower.
Damn it. Oh, that's a springy thing. There we go. Now we're BSS safe for fire. This is our Walter Werke, 4th Street Site, 1897, Caravan Gatartasiske. I can't do German, but that was external fitting, 1 top cable entry, caravan app inlet. Anyway, in theory, this is hopefully just a drop-in replacement. So that's the template for it, the drilling template, which hopefully will just directly match what we already have. And yeah, the problem on our existing one is that this cover just ripped off. And it turns out this cover is exactly where you find all the part numbers and everything.
Which we didn't know.
So the fact that that was missing has been a real problem for us.
It's a shame you can just get a replacement cover because it's just like a pin going through, isn't it?
Yeah. I do not know how. Aha. Okay, that pulls out. So the cable comes through the gland. Then there's half of a... Where's the other half? Oh, there's the other half of that. Okay. So it is pretty straightforward, except for I didn't realize how many connectors were going into there.
So this is the old one, a little bit cobwebby and no cover.
Will you stop? Why did you invade right now? There's no screws left, so yeah, there's the gasket. And it's just come off. And we're free. But I still need to be able to get this out. There we are. Oh, hello.
Oh my god.
Hey, there we are. Yeah! Freedom! Mm-hmm. Yep, nothing alive. Yay! I'm not dead. That's important.
Could you describe threading that wire through?
It's a pain in the ass. I need to know the colors again.
Brown is live, blue is neutral. Do you want me to double check?
Yes. So that's it. All right?
Yeah. Where's he going?
That way. He always does this.
So we've come out to the park to give George a walk.
Yeah.
And also Michael's promised to get me an ice cream.
Yes.
And George is run after the ball twice.
Yeah, he's kind of making his mind up. He's gone after the ball 3 times now. I've thrown the ball 3 times. And twice he's ended up going, yeah, I'm done.
And he lies down and puts his feet in the air.
Yeah. Oh, scratchies, 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 scratchies.
There we go.
There it is. There it is. All right, George, do you want an ice cream? Or a slushie? Oh.
No mint chocolate.
I found some.
Yay!
This is the problem, is I don't think he can... Oh. Yeah. Whoa. Oh, you. He really wants some ice cream. He likes mint chocolate chip, is George. But yeah. You done? We're having some technical difficulties controlling the dog. But yeah, found this place when we first came through March, and it turns out Nigel, one of our viewers, is one of the owners, so he's nicely talking to me since we come back into March. And we figured we'd stop by and get a slush and an ice cream and coconut ice and some chocolates and something for George at some point. If you're in March and it's warm and you've got a dog that'll shut up, come stop by. One of the strange things in the last couple of years is I've started developing a taste for things that have coffee in them. Sometimes I hate them, sometimes I like them, sometimes I like them a lot. This has got some espresso in it, so I'm gonna try it.
I left it quite long.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, now that's strange because having just had the tropical thing and some of your mint choc chip, the initial flavor was peanut butter, and now it's coffee and pineapple. Try to avoid espresso chocolates immediately after a Mr. Cool It. Dear God, does that mix? There we go. He's up. He's good. He's liking his mint chocolate.
Can you clean my finger?
No.
George, please.
No. Okay. Oh, he's got a bit of mint chocolate on his nose. When do I get to lick the cone? Sashi? Oh.
Down.
Yum. There it goes. You don't even take time to enjoy it, George.
Which one are you going for?
This will be the Biscoff one. That's the creme brulee. So I'm going for the Biscoff one first. Oh wow. Wow, that really is very Biscoff. Like it tastes like a Biscoff cookie with chocolate on the outside. Like it's, you know, I mean, obviously it probably is just a big piece of Biscoff, but no, it's really nice. And then the creme brulee is my favorite sort of thing, so. Oh, that's my new favorite. And it's got like a marshmallowy texture, and then it's crunchy chocolate on the outside and gooey on the inside. Yeah, that's my new favorite. I like that one a lot.
Don't fall backwards into the canal. So it's a job I've been putting off for 2 years, and it's not a big job, but I'm finally going to clean our windows on the outside of the boat. And yeah, our boat is a bit of a state. It desperately needs painting, but we do not have the money to pay someone to do it, and we do not have the energy to do it ourselves. So yeah, not a good situation, but it's the situation we're in. Good morning.
We are inside the house, apparently across from a boat named Hill Penny. That's the boat over there.
And look at these clean windows.
Yes, you can see the boat now.
Today is BSS day.
Yes, and we won't be filming much of the BSS because we haven't asked if we can. And also, when he gets here, he's got a kind of crammed checklist of things to go through in tight spaces.
Yeah.
So,
and we've pulled the boat apart a bit so that he can access the bits that he needs. So there's stuff everywhere.
yeah, it's pretty straightforward. He basically needs complete, like, unfettered access to the engine, and then to the electrics, and then to all of the gas connections and all of the LPG connections.
Do we
Those
need
are the
to
same
take
thing.
the diesel?
Diesel connection, that's what I meant. Yeah, the fuel connection at the front for the diesel stove.
Do we need to take the thing off the front of the electrics in the bathroom?
No.
Okay.
No, that should be fine. Well, we'll find out. It's the battery connections in the big terminals that matter, not the little tiny 12-volt stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but he needs to be able to see the LPG pipes that, as they run all the way from the gas locker to the stove. He'll need to be able to see the back of the stove, so we'll have to pull it out. He needs to be able to get under the sink to the LPG hookup so that he can do a pressure test. Yeah, and so we've basically got all that stuff sort of organized and ready to go. He'll come in around 10:30. Hopefully we have everything done before noon.
Because we want to do the engine service this afternoon because when you're awake and we've just been putting it off.
Yeah, we've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And also the weather's been kind of not so great until today.
Well, so it'd be a nice day to cruise, but we're not really. Well, we might do. Depends what time we finish.
We'll see what time we finish. We've also got to do a run to Tesco's and some general shopping to have us prepared for the next few days' meals before we go. So we might not get all that done today, and if we don't, then we're going to stay at Fox Narrowboats one more day and leave in the morning. Yeah. But we'll find out as we get there. So the only other job that we, and I don't know where we've misplaced it to again, the one thing that isn't fixed, finished, done right now, we are ready for the BSS, I'm sure. Everything is lined up, everything's ready to go. However, we haven't actually, yet that's what she's looking for.
Oh look, she knows exactly where it is.
We haven't actually got the screws out for that. To
oh, and what are these?
Oh, she's got the screws out for that. We haven't got the screwdriver out to affix that. And the drill. So we'll get those out before we go. All right?
Before we go?
Before we go, get ready and get everything. We've got to get the engine bay uncovered. We've got to get the rubber mat on the front again and the whale deck open and that sort of stuff. Good fun. BSS day.
So this is the bedroom with the mattress leant up against the wall. The batteries are accessible. And then yeah, everything's just been pulled out everywhere else. Your bed. We've just got a little cubby hole under the table.
Yeah, we're trying to stow him there, but he's not.
And then yeah, all the bedding at the front.
Okay, so at that point, all of the copper work for the LPG under here is visible and you can get at the access point. And of course our kitchen surface is completely obscured and you can barely see me, but you can make it under here and with a flashlight you can see everything. And we've remembered we've got a bunch of stuff we forgot we had.
Also, let's not buy any more bags.
No more bags.
Nobody needs that many bags.
Yeah.
Also, I think some of them are mum's, so I think we...
Yeah, some of those I have absconded from your mother's with.
So I think you should take them back.
Yeah.
So the back of the boat's now exploded into the towpath, and he's 20 minutes early, so yeah, Michael's just gone to meet him. So we're having a fun day.
The BSS is done, but so is the summer. England has decided to go back to winter. I've just been sprayed in the face with a bunch of water because it turns out if you're trying to use high pressure water to clean out your floor mats, you hit the bit of moss and mud that's caked in there and then it just shoots back in your face. So that was nice. Yeah, it was good fun. Lots of enjoy. Yeah, the BSS is finished. There was a bit of a kerfuffle because our high pressure regulator, the one that goes from our LPG tank to our hose and then feeds the system, was letting too much pressure through. So
which is really annoying because the last person we spoke to talked us into having it.
Yeah, forced us into getting this very expensive one. Not forced us, but like, you know, it was like, you need to get this one because this is what we install on new boats. And so we added this like 100-pound or something unit to that. And that was fine, except for now, like 2 years later, it's failed and it's pushing too much pressure through. And I've got a low power warning. And I've lost the microphone. So yeah, it's failed sufficiently that it's pushing too much pressure through. So when he attached his manometer to it, manometer. When he attached his manometer to it, and pressurized it, and I turned on the high pressure. He was like, turn it off, because a bunch of water shot out the top end of the thing. So it was way too much pressure.
But at least it's right now.
Yeah.
And it took. He was
Couple hours.
it was very nice. He came back once it had been changed.
He had to run all the way home to get a piece to make the hose. The pieces that we needed to make the hose to install to get it back into functional condition, so that the BSS could continue, and he could actually do the examination
Rather than come back and do it rather than fail us and come back and do it another time.
Yeah.
So.
And then we tested the rest of it, and it's all working inside the kitchen. Everything's fine. Everything from the regulator down is fully functional. That's great. He signs off. He's headed off. We're going to get the BSS in the email. We'll pay for the BSS. He's left. Everything's good. I go to the gas locker to close it up, and I get a whiff of gas, because it turns out that the connections I've made on that end aren't great.
But they are now.
So I had to get the wrench that he was nice enough to leave me a better wrench, like a proper one that actually fits the gas locker better than the one we've had all these years. And so I had to put some soap and water down on the junction and recognize that in fact I had not made the connection very well. So there was a bunch of gas coming out. So if I'd left that overnight, we probably wouldn't have noticed the smell, but would have noticed the gas bottle's empty. Strange.
We've still got the engine service to do, and it's raining, so...
Yeah, and on top of it being raining, it's just come up that there is a yellow warning for rain today, so that's England's way of saying it's going to be a mite bit soggy, starting at 4 o'clock this evening, and it looks really bad at midnight.
4 o'clock this morning?
Evening.
So now?
Now, yeah. Now is when it goes off. 4 o'clock this evening is when it goes lighter.
Yeah.
And then it stays lighter until around midnight. And then at midnight we're getting like 9 millimeters or something. So like a centimeter of rain in 1 hour.
Well, that's something to look forward to.
Yeah. George will be happy about that.
So
and then there's more tomorrow.
Do you want to try and do the engine?
I guess so.
It's up to you.
I guess so. I don't really want to.
No, but if we don't do it, then it won't get done.
Well, it won't get done until we're at Peterborough, and then we don't want to stick around in Peterborough and do it. So, yeah.
And
I'll probably end up doing it now.
And then we're cruising tomorrow, and hopefully, assuming the engine gets put back together, and it'll be raining. So.
Yeah. Good fun. Looking forward to that. Okay, we're, well, as you can hear, well, maybe you can't hear, but hopefully you can hear a little bit. Engine's running. We got the engine check done at about 8 o'clock last night.
Yeah,
it started to go dark.
Quite late, and it was starting to rain, and we were really tired. It's been a long day.
Really tired. A lot of stuff had just come down to the BSS.
Taking much longer.
Yeah, which really was just because of the failure of the gas regulator that we had on there before, and then having to get a new one installed. Everything on a boat can take longer than you expect it to. The inspection itself was done quite quickly, other than that. Mm-hmm. And then there was just a fair amount of, well, we got to get that fixed. And then, yeah.
So today we went to do some post, and we went to visit Michael's new friend in the shop by the canal.
Nigel, yeah.
And he insisted on giving me an ice
Well, he's been
cream.
mentioning it since I first stopped in. He's like, you got to try this thing, and he's got a name for it internally.
Narrowboat.
Well, he's calling it the Narrowboat Special.
But we filmed it, so we'll insert the clip.
We're going to put some and squash it down in there, make it flat. 2. And do you think Joe would like chocolate sauce? You're wiggling everywhere. It's going to go. Oh dear.
So there you go. There is the Narrowboat Special.
Thank you very much.
Narrowboat Special.
You're coming into March, and you want an ice cream as much as George does. You know, he
George.
definitely wants it, but there's some. Come in and get a Narrowboat Special. There we go.
So yeah, so then we came back and we had to run the engine just to check that everything that we did yesterday was fine, and it's all fine, and the engine started much better than it has been, so hopefully that solved that problem.
Yeah.
And now, oh yeah, we heard from Daryl, who is the pilot that seems to take everyone across the wash, and we had a 5-day window of when he thought we might be doing it. Well, it turns out we're doing it probably on one of the first 2 days of that window, so now we have 2 days.
Well, it's because of the weather and the tides.
And the winds, yeah.
So basically, we now have to get from March to Dobblet Lock. Well, tomorrow we're going to be going through Stanground Lock. We called ahead and we were able to get that booked in.
We've basically got 48 hours to get to Whiz Beach, basically, which is very doable. But
it's doable, but
it's like lunchtime now on the Tuesday. So.
Yeah, so we got like a 4-hour run to Stanground Lock, so we've got to do kind of 3 hours today to the Whittlesey moorings.
And hopefully there's a spot for us.
If there's not, then we've got to keep going to Stanground Lock. One way or another, we've got to be at Stanground Lock for 10:30 tomorrow morning. Then we are waiting to hear back from the fella at Dog and a Doublet, who was away from Dog and the Doublet and didn't have his tide table on him. So he's going to call back this evening to tell us whether or not we can go through either tomorrow evening or afternoon, or if we can go through the following day. One way or another, we get to Whiz Beach so that we can be the first boat to go across to Boston the next day. So yeah,
it's very exciting.
That's the initial plan. Of course, like all plans, we have no idea whether or not any of this will play out the way we're describing.
I'm not terrified yet. Usually by this stage, I'm just not thinking about it, I don't think.
Well, I'm thinking about it. I'm not particularly terrified, but I am missing a soft serve boat with us.
Yeah, that's true. But you'll have to get off at the, are we stopping at the sandbanks?
I think that's still a thing, but I'm not sure.
We're much more low-key than last time.
Well, because there's another place up there called the Yacht Haven, so you can go up the Welland a little bit, go into the Yacht Haven, and then stay in water. But I think the other option is to go and just beach outside of...
Oh, I hope we do that, because that was really magical last time, and I want you to get off the boat this time.
Yeah.
If we do that. Anyway.
But there won't be any soft surf.
No. So it's been raining on and off the whole trip, mainly on, so me and George came inside, but the sun has come out for a minute, so I think I'm going to go to the back and keep Michael company for a bit. So we're just coming up to the junction. Fenwick is that way and the old River Nene continues that way. How's it going?
It's British summertime, mid-July, perfect weather, wonderfully warm and dry. This country seems to have figured out exactly where to place itself to be battered about at all times by the sky.
This isn't the first time you've done this stretch in the pouring rain either.
Nope. At least this time there isn't the flashes of lightning every 50 feet. But,
there's some weather in front of us, so there's been a bit of a lull, but...
Yeah, that's the thing with England. It's like the charge of the Light Brigade. There's weather in front of us. There's weather behind us. There's weather to the left of us. There's weather to the right. There's weather on top of us.
The sun's come out. The sun's in my eyes. We're just trying to discuss which way, or we're just trying to work out which way the winds are blowing from the windmills, and whether the storm is going to pass us or come straight for us.
So, looking up, the clouds are going in exactly the same direction as the windmills are aimed. And that puts us right at the sort of outermost edge of the worst of the weather, which is, you can sort of see behind us this sort of big cloud. And it's worse over that way. It is dark. We're coming up to the lock now. I'm a little damp.
Poor Michael.
Yeah. My woolly socks are now wet sheep. I have very damp feet. I have a very damp body. Joe's missed the worst of it. She got to stay inside with George.
I was editing. I was working.
Yeah, I know you were working. I'm not working. I'm just lazing about on the back like
I didn't
a complete
say-
numpty with absolutely no
I didn't.
effort or contribution being made whatsoever.
I didn't say that.
She's in there slaving away. I'm out here just doing nothing but occasionally calling for carrots. That's me.
Which arrived.
Which did arrive, yes. 'Cause
As did the umbrella.
yes, and the umbrella arrived too.
You did look really miserable when I passed the umbrella.
And then I put my hand up to hold the umbrella, and all the water that was on my wrist drained down, so now it's in my elbow.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a bit unpleasant.
So Michael's going to do this lock. I seem to remember it's the one that you turn about 350 times.
Yeah, minimum.
Yeah.
And it requires the funny middle levels only lock
Key.
key.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's the lock key, and there's also the windlass. That are those two of the three. Is it three? Yeah, two of the three items on the entire waterways that
Only do three
only
locks.
do like one thing basically, and that's it. And you never use them again.
Anyway, hopefully not too far away, just round this corner is a
Kingfisher.
kingfisher. I was going to say lock, but
Gerald, and Gerald. Okay, the lockkeeper Doug and Double gave us a call back.
it's beyond the other boat. The other side of that boat. So despite what we said when we were approaching the lock, Michael ended up driving in and I ended up winding the paddles 300 odd times. Oh, shattered. So Michael's just gone ahead to moor up because the moorings are about like 100 metres from the lock. And I've been back at the lock closing it up and resetting it for overnight, I guess. Doubt anyone else will be along today. Whittlesey. There's two moorings here at Whittlesey at the park, and thankfully one was free.
Yeah, luckily. We've had luck every time we've come up here. haven't
Actually, yeah, we have.
Yeah.
We've never not got
Like
one.
there's only moorings for two boats, but every time we've been here, we've been.
There's been one boat and one space for
Yeah,
perseverance.
might even have been that boat. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I was going to say I'm not lock fit anymore. That one lock.
Well, that one lock it does like the threads on those worm gears. You've got this great big threaded rod that's like easily 3 times the length of this thing, and it's got the tiniest pitch on it. So it's like every
And-
time you're doing a full rotation, it's moving it up like maybe a half a centimeter.
And it's really stiff, and also the gates are heavy. Gosh, we're going to get told I'm moany.
Well, it's correct. She's very moany, but at the same time, this one, try it. Come through and see if you enjoy it any more than we do. It really is a lot of turns. Like I did 15 turns of this great big thing to get to the point where I'm like I think enough's coming through. I forgot what she remembered. Joe had, recalled that the last time it wouldn't equalize until it was like fully open.
Yeah.
So
But
I did 15 turns, and then I watched you do another like 60.
Yeah, I know. I know you watched me.
I know. I was watching in incredible comfort, because again, what we've established from the last bit of the video is I just sit on the back.
Anyway, we're going
No
to
effort at all.
spend the night in Whittlesey, and our plans for the next few days have changed
We've
because
gotten a little bit scuppered.
because the times we were given were wrong, but we'll work it out.
This is Whittlesey. George is going to get a little bit more ball throwing, and then I'm going to go and take a walk over to the very, very angular church over there. He's going over the hill, coming down, dropping the ball, and...
Two beardies together.
So we've had a relatively peaceful night in Whittlesey, moored in this park, and the nice thing about mooring here is in the morning there's lots of dog walkers, so lots of dogs to say hello to. But we need to go ASAP because we have a booking to go through Stanground Lock in about an hour and 15 minutes, so it's time to go. And if you remember, or if we remember, as you come out of Whittlesey, there's a very, very sharp blind turn, so we've got that to navigate first, and then about an hour to get to Stanground Lock. So we're just coming up to the turn, so I'm at the front to just check that there's nothing coming the other way. Claire!
Just about tactics, it's not just about his leadership, it's about his idea of
into unknown territory. His Majesty must be put on trial. He has, after all, been ordained to rule by God. Something about going from a corruptible to an incorruptible crown. Despite the war that has ravaged the nation, Charles is still his designated place of house arrest. There is much to concentrate minds as to maintain public order. December the 28th, the Speaker of the House reads out an order of justice. It is going to put the King on trial for high treason.
So we're in the lock and the gates are just getting shut for us, and we have to have the engine on and
Slightly pushing forward as the water's coming in.
a little bit different to most locks.
That's what I was trying to remember, because I think it's in the other direction you have to
You do something different.
turn the engine off, and in this direction it's pushed forward.
Yeah.
But I can't remember for sure.
Bye to the middle levels, hello to the River Nene.
By Cambridge.
Yeah. At this side? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, we're back at Overton Lake, or whatever
Overton
it's called.
Lake.
Overton Lake.
It was Overton
Did
Lock.
I say Overton?
Yeah, it's Overton
Overton
Lock.
Lock, Overton Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ferry
We've only
Meadow.
been here a few times, and I always get that one wrong.
I think it's also called Ferry Meadow.
Yeah, Ferry Meadow Park. Well, this is Overton Lake, in the middle of the Ferry Meadow Park,
Just outside Peterborough.
just outside Peterborough.
And we didn't want to stop in Peterborough, but we're
And,
kind of walking distance. So.
Yeah, and apparently there's been some growth of weed in here, as well as the arrival of a fleet of birds, which are now sitting on the Wyndham, the trip boat, but they were at the end of our little weir here.
George is just sat up there on the grass because this walkway is quite hard on his paws.
It is quite hard on his paws.
And when we arrived, there was a whole load of birds on the pontoon, but then there was a whole load of...
There's a gaggle of birds on the pontoon, and there's a gaggle of photographers on the shore
There's
here,
like 8
just
cameras.
standing there, like taking shots of us. It's like, aha, we are here.
So yeah, that's the end of this video. The next one, I think, will be the wash. Or otherwise it will be preparing to do the wash.
Well, at the very least, it will be the trip to Whiz Beach, where we wait to find out if we go across the.
That'll be quite disappointing.
As of right now, we have a date and time to go through Dog and the Doublet Lock to get to Whiz Beach, and we have a sort of window up of opportunity in terms of the tides to cross from Whiz Beach to Boston, but we do not know which of those days will be accessible, or if one of those days will be accessible, because it all depends on the weather.
And we don't know what the weather's going to do. And it's nice today, but it was ridiculous.
It was miserable yesterday.
So we'll just have to wait and
And
see.
it looks like miserable is coming from the south right now.
Oh,
So
good.
you never know what's going to happen in England.
So
Other than it's going to be, unreliable.
have you worked out your outro yet?
No, I don't think that I will work out an outro.
Okay.
Other than
Thanks for watching.
what did I do the last time? Auf Wiedersehen.
Yeah.
And then, is it Guten Tag? I don't know. I do different. That's German. Or no, that's Korean. No, wait. Klingon. For,
Did you just get
for-
Korean and German mixed up with Klingon?
yeah, well, it's kind of like kimchi. It's kind of like schnell. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm so tired. So I will say exit parentheses 1 parenthesis.
Speaking code.
Yeah.
It's over there.
But spin it all the way around. Keep going.
You do it then.
Back that way. There's the worst of it.